Hi and welcome to the instructional video of the fantastic Laika Kreos 7009. This is a 2020 model. So we'll start by walking around the outside. First things first, we've got your diesel filler. That's lockable with the actual vehicle key, which is the same key which goes in your ignition. Below that is for additive, and then that's for your AdBlue, and that's for the additives for the exhaust system. The vehicle will warn you when it starts to get low, and we'll put an indicator off, and then we'll start to count down on the AdBlue. Roughly you'd expect to replace that sort of every 3,000 to 6,000 miles, depending on the weight of vehicles and driving conditions. This exhaust here is for your exhaust fumes from your Alder water heater and radiator system. You'll find that that'll get quite warm when you're operating it, as the byproduct of any gas sort of comes through from there. Big storage locker underneath this vehicle. You've got right through access right through to the opposite side within that double floor, and that's what gives you this winterization. We've then got your external shower point on here. The actual shower head is inside and just locates on a bayonet fitting straight into there, twist it, and away you go from there. Moving further backwards, we've then got your fresh water. Your fresh water is locked and lockable with the habitation door key. So that key, not the vehicle key, the habitation door key. So that key does all of the rear lockers, the bottom lockers. It's one suited key that does all of those. To fill up with fuel, that's the one for fuel, which is at the front, and that starts your engine as well. Moving further backwards, we've got your rear locker on this side, which is slightly smaller than the one on the opposite side. We have your vehicle toolkit, which is there, which has got your jack and wheel brace and towing eye. Rear chocks to support the handbrake. We then have your duct board within here for the shower. Shelves, which are within this pack for within the shower compartment. Instruction books for all the details within there. Carpets. We have your centre rafter for your awning. When your awning's wound out, that centre rafter goes in to add support to that centre section. And then we've got your winder, which is here for that awning. The awning instructions are available as a separate video, or we can quite happily show you when you come to collect. Also on this model, we've fitted the garage bike rack. This just drops down, dead self-explanatory, and then you've got each of those which attach onto your bike frame, and then these sections go through the bike wheels, through the spokes. Up at the back corner, we've got your two gas pigtails, which just need to be plumbed into your gas bottles when you fit your gas bottles. And then we've got, like I said earlier, your shower fitting, which is on there. We've got rails, hanging rails upon the ceiling of the underside of the bed. These slide across and you can hang things, and you can loosen these off, twist them along, so you can put them in different areas. What you've got within the double floor is your freshwater tanks and your wastewater tanks. Now you also see there your pump, which is housed within that section. Just climb in to give you a better, closer look. So this is your stone filter. This protects the pump from any stones and debris that might get in through the water filling system. We've then got your pump, which is here, and then we've got your freshwater tank. To drain your freshwater tanks, twist each of these, and then that will drain your freshwater tank from there. That's the closed position. That way's the open position. And you've got two access points on there. You've got another one which is just behind here as well on that. And that's to drain your freshwater system if you're draining it for cleaning purposes, if you're draining it for winter use. And then that goes from there. Walking around the back of the vehicle, we've got your reversing camera. And then on the other side, we've got the massive garage door. Just whilst we're on this side, we've got your expansion pump, which is here, which basically pumps the pressure up and keeps the pressure throughout the water system. Because of the size of the vehicle, we've got a mains power plug in here. Any mains power plug inside the vehicle is only mains powered when you are plugged into mains. If you're not plugged into mains, that is not mains powered. However, you do have a 12 volt power socket within here, which is live all of the time. To drain your wastewater system, dead easy. push to open, and that opens the valve in the up position, and your wastewater will drain out like so. Push it to close it, and as you'll see, after a short time, that water then stops draining. Inside the garage also, the light switch for those lights. Maximum capacity inside a Laika garage for weight is 250 kilograms. Just be careful that you do spread the weight. It's not 250 kilograms on one single point. So if you're going to put, say, a motorcycle on an axle stand, make sure and ensure you spread that weight. Behind the locker door, we have the main plug-in point, standard 3-pin plug-in point, which is universal across Europe. We then have, moving forward, your toilet cassette. To release your toilet cassette, lift this handle and slide out like so. You can then slide that up, and then you can take it to its eventual destination to drain off. And when you're going to drain off, twist like so, release the cap, move that cap somewhere else, lift the container, push, and that'll release a vacuum. When you slide the cassette back in, put the cap back on, slide in like so, and ensure that when it's in, that is locked in. This is the barbecue point, external gas point, which has also been fitted as an extra to this vehicle. And then you'll see above, we've got your awning, which is there, and then the awning winder attaches onto that area. Moving forward, we've then got your gas locker, which is capable of fitting 2 6-kilogram bottles quite comfortably. 13 kilograms at a bit of a squeeze, but will fit. And then we've got your gas connections, which are up here, which are the pigtails, which are in the back in the garage. And then we've got your direction for which gas bottle you wish to use, pointing at right or left. Cab doors and habitation doors are on your central locking through your alarm. Push to arm, push to disarm. If you get several audible beeps like so, as you're hearing there, that's because the alarm hasn't been armed, because some of your doors are open and it's warning you for that from there. Okay, so that's everything on the outside fittings. We will then shortly go on to the inside. Okay, so moving inside, we've then got your switches on this side. This switch is for your step. Push down, and as you'll see, your step then opens. And we step inside the vehicle. As we step inside the vehicle, we've got our main control panel. This is our main control panel to turn it on, which is from there. As you turn it off, the timer, after if it's been on for a while, will show, and then you've then got, when you turn it back on, this timer, where it takes the time for the processor just to wake up all the systems. So your controls above, which are usually housed behind this panel, it's on a magnet you just lift up. You've got your main control panel, and then you've got your heating control panel. Your heating control panel to turn on, just push on like so, and then that powers up. On your heating system, press menu, and you have dead straightforward controls. You've got, the top one is a thermometer inside a house, so that's to select your room temperature. So you can just go up and down on the thermostat, minus and plus from there, and you can set the temperature. Next one down, picture of a shower. You have half setting, full setting. In essence, basically, you've got off, as that is now. You've got normal operation, and then you've got boost operation. Boost operation will heat the water, heat it quicker, but will do so at the detriment of the radiators. So it will give you warmer water quicker, but don't expect then the vehicle to get warm inside, because it's actually giving it 30 minutes of boost, and it's going to heat the water as quickly as it possibly can. It's far better at operating that on gas than it is on electric, because on gas it's 6 kilowatt, on electric it only goes up to 3. So normal use is halfway. If you run out of hot water and you just want a quick shower or anything or such like that, move up to full, it'll auto then default back to halfway. But that is the normal setting. Next, we've got fuel supply. So do we want to use electric? If we're going to use electric, we've got that lightning spike and we can choose to use 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt or 3 kilowatt. Reason we've got the 1 kilowatt setting is if you're on a campsite that's got really, really bad power supply, then and it's tripping out all the time, then you would use that 1 kilowatt supply. 2 kilowatt is normal use. 3 kilowatt, if you're on a campsite that's got brilliant supply, then you can use 3 kilowatt. The vehicle will cope with anything. It just depends on the supply that's coming in. So select the power from there, 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt are off, or 3 kilowatt. We've then got a picture of a flame. That's for gas. Gas on is green, gas off is not. We can use it on a combination of two, so we can choose electric, we can use gas as well. If electric's keeping up to temperature, it'll use their electric. If it's not, it'll then fire up your gas. So in winter conditions, you'd use probably both if you were plugged into mains. Doesn't mean it's going to go to 9 kilowatt. It'll mean it'll use 3 kilowatt of gas, 3 kilowatt of electric. And like I say, it'll use their electric as much as possible. If we want to go into the settings, we press the wheel and we can change night settings and various things such as that. We can go through different settings from there. Prioritize whether you want to use electric or gas. And we can choose the brightness and settings and things such as that. What I'd say is get used to the systems first of all and then refer yourself to the manual to go through deeper into the settings. Now going back to your control panel, when you've got in the vehicle, we've selected what we want to do and heat the vehicle, so on and so forth. We then press this control panel to wake it up. And what we've got your heating timer on there if you want to operate a timer. We've then got your water pump on and off. If anything's amber, it's on. If it's white, it's off. I'll just close that a bit so it's not as bright. And then what we've got is your 12 volt power on, 12 volt power off. And that's basically, as I press that button, you'll be able to see the lights are on and off from there. Without that on, nothing's going to work inside van. And then we've got your awning light on this button, on and off, and then we've got your auxiliary power, so your auxiliary circuits, that also. When you're camping, in essence, that's what you want on. All those four on. It'll always display the time, it'll also display the temperature inside and outside. We press info in this bottom right hand corner. It then shows us our level of our tanks and our vehicle batteries. So we've got a picture of our battery with a motorhome in it, 12.3, 12.4 volts inside there. And then we've got a picture of a battery with a vehicle in it, and that's showing the vehicle battery from there. So that's that one, which is there, and that's the leisure battery. We've then got above, we've got our wastewater tank, which is here, and it's showing the level in that. And then it's showing then the freshwater tank. So the freshwater tank's 2/3, wastewater tank is 1/3 full from there. So dead straightforward. If you want to come out of that at any time, press exit. Just take it back to the default screen. After a short period, that screen goes a little bit dimmer, so it's just not annoying you at night. You've got light switches throughout the vehicle. These are not on and off. Basically, you just push them and they flick back to the positions, and they're on a spring from there. And you've got lights throughout the vehicle. On this particular vehicle, it's also got the great addition of Motorhome Wi-Fi, which is on there. You can remove this box, it's on a magnet, take this back off, and then you can activate your SIM card. You've got main power on and off on the back of that. You can unplug that and it'll give you a little mobile sort of Wi-Fi signal throughout. We've then got your TV aerial booster, your TV aerial booster. Basically on there, you just turn up maximum and minimum from there, and as you'll see, the LED will go from red to green as you adjust that. You do have an aerial that's on the roof, which is also on a pole, which will give you a better signal. TV on this is fitted behind the side seat, and the switch for that is directly to the left hand side of it. Push the up button and your TV pops up like so. Push the down button and down it goes. Moving to the back of the vehicle, so we've got into campsite, we've filled it with water. We've got our heating on. We now want to get our fridge on. To do so, we turn the fridge on by pushing this button. We can either select the simplest method, which is A for automatic. If we're not plugged into mains, it will look for gas. If we are plugged into mains, it'll look for mains power. Each of the lights will light up to indicate what power it's using from. Battery is only when the engine is running. That is the only time that battery will work. If we try to select battery, beep tells not working. That's because there is no power coming from the battery. And the fridge uses a hell of a lot of power, so it needs to use either gas or mains when you're camping, battery when you're driving. It's auto set, so it does not drain any batteries whilst you're doing. So it needs to have the engine running to do that. To select your temperature, you can then press the thermometer like so, and you can choose the different settings. 3 or 4 is about normal, 5 you end up with frozen lettuce. This icon here, if you're in particularly humid countries and you're opening the freezer a lot, what can happen is frost can pour out from here. What can happen, the moisture then can freeze because of the efficiency of the fridge, this door shut. So if it's ever, you go into it and it won't open, just go to that button, turn that on, like so. And what that does is it very gently warms this frame and just prevents it from freezing to it. If you're wild camping, there's not much point having that on all the time because it can drain your vehicle battery. But like I say, the simplest method, A for automatic, to select the fuel on this, and it'll take care of everything itself. When you start your engine, it'll go to battery. When you plug it into mains, it'll go to mains. If it ever fails on gas, these lights will start to warn you. To do so, to reset it, you will have to press that reset button, and it's indicated on there, the instructions that you need to do. But I would refer yourself to the instructions within the manual before you start to fully use it. Before you light the fridge and before you light the boiler even, it's always quite handy to make sure there's some gas in the system. Simplest way to do so with that is to just pull some gas through on your hob. So just push to the large flame, keep it held in, hold it in for a few seconds till it's lit. Once it's lit, hold the knob in then for a few seconds, release it. If you release it too quick, the flame will go out, and then adjust it. That just pulls some gas into the air lines and takes air out of the gas. So then basically your fridge will light quicker, and so will your heater. Your hob will be the last thing that will operate on gas. It'll literally run on vapour, uses very little. Your oven works in exactly the same principle as your hob. Turn to the large flame and push to light from there. And then we have your oven and grill within there. Your water system. To prime your water system, turn it to cold, and the pump will start pumping like so. Go to hot and lift like so. If it's the first time that you've filled, you'll turn that and it'll cough and it'll splutter and it'll gurgle, and what that's doing is basically emptying the boiler, which stores 10 litres, or roughly thereabouts, 10 litres of air, and replacing it with water out of the freshwater tank. So it's never going to give you instant hot water, because it needs to warm up. So in essence, basically, you've got cold water that's going into the hot water tap. By doing so, by turning this with the first time you filled it to the hot water, what that's doing is it purging the boiler of air. Automatically then, it's replenishing that water into the boiler from the freshwater tank. We've got a drainer, which is inside there, an additional sink. And then also with this, these remove, slot into there, and then it gives you an extra bit of work surface as well for you. You've got storage in each of these with these airline lockers, and those closed too, and they're on a soft close. We've got a drop down bed to drop these front seats, twist this handle, and the seats drop back like so, and then pull the handle down. You'd release the seat belt, so before travelling, ensure that that seat belt is released, and then pop down like so. And you have that massive bed, which is up there. Roof vent, each of the roof vents are very similar. You're pushing that in like so, and then lifting up. And then every window has a blind and fly screen, and so does every vent. Moving to the back of the vehicle, you've got your dividing door, which is here, which slides along this rail. You've got additional light switches throughout in different areas. We've got your shower compartment, which is a fantastic space inside there. 2 drainers in case you're not completely level. Shower tap on and off on there. Pump is on from there, like so. Just ensure that that switch is on or off. For draining down or for winter use, just put the shower head, leave it in the base of the shower, just to protect, so you're not getting any water that's siphoning back and damaging the tap. Also, nice feature on these is a little rail that drops down. So if you've got wet clothes, wet coats or anything like that, then that drops down from there. And then we've just got your supports for your shelves for your shower if you want to use that as a kind of laundry room. That closes too, it's on a magnet. This divide, basically you push this down like so, and then this door then slides closed and then goes back against that catch. This door will also close too, and then gives you a lovely ensuite facility. With your light switch for your bathroom inside here. Flush for your toilet, push to flush. Then you have your toilet top, which you can adjust. And then to release, you have this lever. Pull the lever, and then that opens up the contents, and then close too. You do need to put chemical inside that toilet, which you do so from the outside, as I've shown you on that cap from there. This then closes too and locks. We've got loads of storage throughout, storage below these areas. Also storage, we've got your TV box there, we've got your additional carpets for your living area, and then we've also got your circuit breakers, which are here. If you press that to test, if you're hooked up onto mains, that'll drop down. If you press it and it doesn't drop down, it won't flick down. So if you're not hooked up, then that will not flick down. So that gives you a good indication of whether you've actually got your mains lead plugged in properly or whether the campsite is providing you with mains. If it doesn't go down, you've definitely not got mains. This thermostat on this side is for your rear bedroom, so you can turn this down if it's particularly hot at night in the bedroom. You can turn this down so you can adjust the temperature. Turn it up, turn it down as you're comfortable with. We've got your TV socket for your rear if you wish, which is there, which is 12 volt power, and then we've got your additional lighting, which is here, and then storage throughout in each of these compartments throughout from there. These areas next to your bed are where the heating runs through and your radiator system runs through. On this side of the bed, we then have additional storage. These are on a magnet, these lights, so as soon as you close each of these areas, then these lights will go out automatically. As soon as that drops down, the magnet will then turn it off. Last but not least, in the storage, just hidden behind here, is a drop down component, and then that is your expansion tank for your water heater. It needs to sit below between minimum and maximum. You will see a little bit of evaporation, and when it's been on for a while and when it's warmed up, you will see that that'll raise up to maximum and go from there. But other than that, you'd normally just leave it, nothing really to do with it. You've got access into your double floor areas by pushing like so, and then that reveals access into there. And then each of these drawers, just be careful with these, in essence they're a strange shape, but you're pulling out and they're dropping out from there. We've got all your bungs for your sinks, remote control there for the TV, and the user manuals and everything for the motorhome Wi-Fi. And we have storage in here, and that's all the gubbins for your oven and grill, which is inside there. And then a big pocket drawer in there, and also a drawer with trays within there. This big roof light here is on a winder. Twist to wind it, and then you'll see that that opens up like so. When you're closing it, close it too, wind it enough times. When it starts to get tight, just wind it back a little bit, and then close. You don't want to over tighten it. It's a plastic nylon grip, and then that basically, you don't want to shred the gear on that, so just be careful. And then here is the aerial that we were mentioning. Basically with that, to lift that up, loosen that off slightly, and then you can lift that up, and then you can manipulate it to get it wherever you want. You may be able to see on the demonstration here that LED is going greener. The greener that LED is, the better the signal is going to be. And then when you're done, that pops down, tighten that up like so. And we've got additional light switches throughout here. Separate all your lights, and then you've got another 12-volt USB, which is just hidden up there. Okay, so finally, and probably most importantly, which is something that you wouldn't do during use, but it's something that you would do when you're certainly winterizing the vehicle, is underneath this seating system, you have your boiler. Now your boiler has a drain valve on it. It's a frost protection valve. That frost protection valve really, in essence, protects the water from freezing inside the boiler. It's very important that if you're not using the vehicle, that you drain that vehicle down, certainly for winter use. The easiest way of doing that is by opening the frost protection valve, opening your freshwater boiler, your freshwater tanks as well on the levers, which I'd shown you earlier, and ensure that that's drained down completely. Then finally open your taps and just ensure that those taps have all drained all the water out, and then leave them in the up position, but with the boiler, with the pump turned off. And that will prevent any water sitting in any of the chambers and ensure that it's completely dry. Obviously, when you're using the vehicle, it's not a problem because the vehicle's going to be warm, it's not going to freeze. With the frost protection valves, sometimes they can open up without you actually using the vehicle, and because it's sensed it's below 6 degrees. The trick is with that is just to have the heating on for 10-15 minutes or so. It'll warm that area ever so slightly, and then it'll stop it from automatically dropping out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these cushions. I'm just going to indicate what is underneath this forward facing seat area. Right, okay, so we've removed the cushions, like I said. You've got a crash tested seating frame, which is here, with the anchor points for the 3-point seat belts, which are just hidden behind the upholstery. Then we've got, directly under here, we've got your leisure battery. And then, as I said, you've got your boiler, which is underneath there. This device is your frost protection device. This is from the boiler, and this is your drain. So this is currently in the closed position. You'll notice that that is smooth, is in line with the housing, and then the pin in this is actually down. So to drain it manually, twist it, and you'll notice there that that pin has popped out and that's popped out. So to close it, 2 operations: twist first and push. That has now stopped draining out, so that's stopped draining anything inside the boiler. That's the closed position, that's normal use position. But the drained position is like so. As I say, it's automatic, so sometimes during the winter you come to it and that may have popped out, and that's because if it's below 6 degrees, that'll drain out. So as I say, doing it manually, that's the most important thing. Get it done, get it drained off if you're not going to be using it, and then you're not going to have any disasters. Okay, so that's pretty much it with the habitation side. The cab, we have standard automatic on this. Put your foot on the brake and then move from R, N or D. Drive mode, you've got economy or power or normal. We've got your climate control within here, and then we have hazard lights. Lock the vehicle internally and unlock the vehicle internally without arming the alarm. So that will just lock the doors, won't bother with the alarm. Heated rear, heated mirrors. We've got hill descent control, so if you're in a steep hill, it will work with the traction control and the ABS to give you extra stability and brake it on the gears rather than just the brakes. And then traction plus, which will kick in automatically, but it's always quite handy to turn on automatically, manually, if you're on a really muddy field. rather than waiting it to kick in. It'll then be ready to kick in. And then we've got your radio, which is here, which has got DAB, which can be paired and can be paired to your phone from there. Hand controls, steering wheel controls are on there, and then we have cruise control on the bottom lever, indicators on the top, and then headlights on and off from there. Wipers are on the opposite side. On the windscreen we have your manual blind. Pinch that together and pull down like so, and then that closes that area off. And then on each of the sides you've got a blind also there and here. On the door itself you've got your adjustment for your mirrors, which is that forward one, and then your electric windows, which is here. And then your controls for your rear blowers or anything as such like that, an automatic eco pack, which is at the bottom, which is just that start stop, which you can turn off from there and adjust the headlights and go through some of the settings if you went within that mode position. Wherever you see sort of vents such as this, you will see and you will feel heat coming through. There'll be heat that'll come through there with the radiators and everything as such like that. Basically that's pretty much everything with the vehicle, and the vehicles are obviously fully valeted before they're dispatched. Just due to COVID at the moment, we do the video handover prior to any valet, so it's then not subsequently contaminated any further. So that's everything. On behalf of everybody at Emm-Bee Motorhomes, I hope you enjoy the motorhome. We have pride in supplying the Laika brand. It's a fantastic brand, and we hope it gives you many, many years of enjoyment. All the best for the future, and just remember, you know where we are if you have any questions. Thanks again.